What's up, y'all? So, should you continue pulling for Zila, or should you save for Jing Yuan, who's going to be coming out in the 1.1 update? That's the question that a lot of folks are having right now, with the recent news for the banners that just came out. I just want to kind of give, my take on everything, and maybe just to help you make a informed decision moving forward. But we'll just do a quick overview of both of the characters real quick, just for those who aren't familiar with them. So Zila, she's gonna be like your single target damage dealer. She does have that special ability, or I think it's the talent, that if she's able to defeat her enemy, it will allow her to have another turn. So essentially, if you build Zila correctly, as long as she's able to kill an enemy in that one turn, she can get another one. So there's been videos out there of people like using Zila and taking out whole waves of enemies just with Zila alone. So she's gonna be really strong in that regard. She's also quantum. Quantum is it's an element that we don't really have too many characters for. We don't really have too many quantum characters, so I think she's unique in that regard as well. So she's quantum, single target DPS. Those are things that kind of really stand out for Zila. Single target, quantum DPS mainly. That's her main thing. And as long as she can kill the enemy, as long as she can kill enemies like ads, she's really good with ad clear basically. Ad clear is where Zila kind of shines at. Now, where she doesn't shine is like boss fights and stuff. Like if there's a boss, like just a boss by itself, and there's like no parts to break or anything, then she kind of gets, she's not as great as she could be in a scenario where she has a bunch of ads to face. So that's where Jing Yuan comes in. They kind of play off of each other's, weaknesses essentially. So where Zila is more single target, taking out trash ads and stuff like that, Jing Yuan is more so Jing Yuan is going to be an electric type AoE dealer, damage dealer. So the unique thing about him, he's kind of basic as far as the kit. He does AoE lightning damage. So that's his main thing, is doing AoE lightning damage. However, he has this unique thing called, I think it's called the lightning god, or something along those lines. Basically, he can summon this lightning god, and the way it works, it essentially is like having another character on the field with you. You have to meet these certain conditions. I think you have to attack a certain amount of times, and it like gives you stacks. These stacks are essentially turns. So you'll see the lightning god on like the side, where you see the little turns for the players on the field. You'll see the lightning god, and it should show you how many turns you have. I believe they say it can stack up to like a few times, 10 times, something along those lines. But yeah, he does. It's essentially like having another character on the field. So you'll have Jing Yuan, and then you'll also have the lightning god who will attack as well. So it's going to be really good for AoE lightning damage. So I think when it comes to these characters, if you're trying to consider on who you should pull for, especially if you are free to play, if you're a free to play player, you should first consider, what characters you currently have, your team, what team you would like to have in the future, what team are you trying to build and go for. That's what I would base it off of. Like, hey, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What characters do I have? What characters don't I have? Like, okay, I have a lot of damage dealers, cool, but do I have a lot of do I need single target? Do I need AoE? So one thing you should consider for those, I know a lot of people want Jing Yuan. There's also there's Kafka. She's going to be coming on later on down the line. She's also she's also an AoE lightning damage user as well. What's her name? Serval. Yeah, Serval. Serval's also lightning AoE as well. So those are things to consider if you're trying to get Jing Yuan. just know that Serval is a pretty good 4-star lightning AoE who's pretty capable of, doing pretty good damage throughout the game so far. But then you also have Kafka, who's going to be coming out soon, who's also going to be lightning. All these characters are kind of going to be filling the same role. Obviously, with Jing Yuan being a 5-star, he's probably going to do more damage than the others. But there's something to consider. I would play off of, all right, what do I have coming up? What are my priorities? Is Serval good enough? Do I want Kafka later on down the line? It's going to be more of damage over time. Do I want Jing Yuan? Things to consider like that. Also, one other thing to consider when looking at the Jing Yuan banner. So it's been shown, you've probably seen it on the internet or through some other videos. The 4-star characters that are available on Jing Yuan's banner are actually quite good. So what you have, what's her name? You have Ting Yun, you have Shu Shang, and I believe it's March 7th. So these are really, really good 4-star characters that, as many people have mentioned before, these are really, really good 4-star characters. Ting Yun and Jing Yuan would actually pair really nicely because Ting Yun, she buffs the character's damage, and then she also gives the lightning damage buffs as well. So that's a good pairing in itself with just Jing Yuan and Ting Yun right off the bat. So just consider the 4-stars. Consider your teams and characters that you kind of already have. Go for what you're needing on your team. Do you need a single target DPS? Are you looking for AoE, lightning? Just consider those things. Those are the things I'll factor in while you're trying to decide on which characters you're trying to get. Now, if you're just somebody who just likes the way the characters look, because me personally, I think Jing Yuan and Sele look good. They just look like really, really good characters themselves. So I would go off of what you enjoy most versus any kind of meta stuff like that. But if meta is your thing, do that as well. Play the game how you like. But if you just like a character and you just want to get him just because just based off of that, then hey, do your thing. But yeah, those are my thoughts for those two. Again, Sele is going to be good for the quantum single target DPS. As long as you're able to kill the adds, you'll get more and more turns each time. Plus she gets a damage buff. She does the resurgence, gives her damage buff for that next turn as well. So then you have Jing Yuan, which is going to be your main AoE damage dealer. But keep in mind, there's going to be there is and will be other lightning AoE damage dealers. So, but Jing Yuan also has a good banner with the 4-star. So things to just keep in mind when you're pulling. There's one other thing that I forgot to mention that I think you all should consider, is that something that a lot of other creators have brought up to our attention was when it comes to damage dealer characters, something that you should keep in mind is power creep. So a good example of this I seen somebody mention was how in Genshin Impact, when Diluc and Klee had first came out, they were considered, really, really strong and must-haves and, top DPS, the meta and whatnot. But nowadays in Genshin, they've fallen off quite a bit in comparison to some of the newer characters like Ganyu and other characters, etc., etc. But you get the point. They're susceptible to power creep. So what I would consider going in, because as we know, the news for 1.1 is we should be getting 2 support characters, Lucha and Silverwolf. Support characters seem to have longer value as far as when it comes to meta and staying power versus DPS, who typically get power creep pretty earlier on. So that's something to consider. If you're trying to pull for Sela or Jing Yuan, is that there might be DPS or damage dealers that come out later on that outshadow them. I mean, we don't have any official information about that happening right now, but that's just something to consider because it has happened in the past, in Genshin Impact, for example. So just something to keep in mind. Me personally, I do value, I like support in general, so I automatically value them way more. I'm probably going to pull, Silverwolf is already on my must pull for me personally. And then Luocha, he's looking really, really good too. I'm probably going to personally go for both of the support. They're kind of ranked higher in my opinion versus the damage dealers, just for the what I just mentioned about power creep. So just something to keep in the back of your minds, especially for free-to-play players. If you're trying to, you know, get the most out of your currency, your in-game currency, just know that power creep is a thing. And yeah, I should have another video coming out here soon. It's gonna go over the 2 support characters, Silverwolf and Luocha. But yeah, I hope y'all liked the video. Let me know what y'all thoughts are in the comment section, who you're pulling for. If there's something that I might have missed in the video, just let me know. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Peace.